Welcome. So in this session, we will implement Firebase email and password authentication. So for that to implement, first we have to go to the Firebase dashboard and click on this authentication button. Then under the sign in that is here, we just have to first of all click on get started. And after that, under this sign in, we have to enable the email and password by just clicking on this enable and then save. But see here, you can see all the other providers, that is phone, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft. It gives us a lot of different options. But okay, we have now first of all enable this email and password. That is what is required. After that, we have to implement the authentication service. And for that, we have to go to our services folder and create a new file called auth service dot dot. Okay. And here we will implement all the Firebase authentication logic required. Now, to create a new user account in Firebase, we have to call the function that is create user with email and password. Firebase auth package gives us a lot of different options, which we will discuss. But first of all, let's create a class of name auth service. And then first thing we have to do is to create an instance of the Firebase auth. So we have to write Firebase auth, then Firebase auth, and write Firebase auth dot instance. So now we have instance. So here you can see it gives us, sorry, it gives us different options, which we will see. But first, let's create a function to register user. The function will be a future function named register. And this function will accept parameter. First one be email and second will be password. Okay. Now here you can see this Firebase auth gives us a lot of different options, that is verify phone number, sign in with phone number, sign in with email and password. So this is what we required, email and password. And now this email is this one and this password is this password, because this sign in with email and password also have two parameters of email and password. And this result, we will store it in a variable called user credentials and then user credential. Because if you hover over this sign in with email and password, you can see it gives us a feature of user credentials data type. Now I will just simply return user credentials dot user. And this user is a data type of this user, which is a null function, that it can be returned null as well. So I will just like to hard type or statically type all the data types. This is highly recommended so that there is no confusion later on. So hooray, we have successfully created our first function which will help us to register our user. And you can see with the code, it's very easy. It was just one line of code. It's that easy. Now from the UI, that is this register screen, we have to execute that function as well. So now let's go to this container, and in the on press button, first of all, I would like to give some if checks. That is, I don't want the email and password to be empty. So I will just write if email controller dot text is equal to empty, or password controller dot text is equal to empty. If it's empty, then I will show a snack bar using snap scaffold messenger dot off context dot show snack bar, and in the content I will simply write a text of all fields are required and give it a background color of colors dot red. The next check, if check, I would like to do is if password controller dot text is not equal to confirm password controller dot text. That is, I want both the values to be same. If it's not same, then again I will show a snack bar with a value return passwords don't match. That's it. Now in the final if statement, I will call our auth service class like this. I have created this object, and through this object, I will use this register function, which accepts two parameters. First is email and second is password. So for the email, I will just write email controller dot text, and for the password, I will write password controller dot text. And now this returns us a user data type. I will just store it here, and I will just check if result is not equal to null, that is it has sent successfully our data, then I will just write print success and print result dot email. That's it. Okay, our code here is done. Now save it and bring out our emulator. So first of all, I won't type anything and just click on submit. See, I get a snack bar of all fields are required. Then I will just write a fake address, not fake, it's okay. I'm not using my own. And in the password, I will write Flutter 123. And then here I will just write Flutter 12. That is, if confirm password and password are not same and click on submit, then site passwords doesn't match. And if I write the confirm password correctly and then click on this submit button, I think I have did a small mistake. Let's check it out. In the auth service, I think I have just wrote sign in with email and password, which should be create user with email and password. So that was a very silly mistake of mine. But now you can see that how you can sign in as well. But this code by itself defines what it does. That is, it creates a new user. So again, I will just write email then password. And now when I click on this submit button, see in the debug console, it's showing success. Now go to your Firebase authentication screen and click on refresh. In the users table, now you might be able to see this user, whatever we have registered. So we have successfully created and registered our first user. So in the provider, this thing, it is showing that it has come from the email and password. Sign in on this, and this it's unique UID. Now we have to create function for this login as well. So similarly in the auth screen, sorry, auth services dot that, let's have a login function, which also is a future and returns a user data type like this, and it accepts string email and string password. And now, just like above, we have this data type of user credentials, and it will await Firebase auth dot. Now it will be sign in with email and password like this. So the above one is create user with email and password, and now this one is sign in with email and password. And after that, I will just return user credentials dot user value. Okay. So we have this login function ready. Again, similarly like before, we have to go to our login screen. And here we should have our if else statements. I will just go to the register screen and copy this code. And in the login screen dot just paste it inside the on press. So here we don't want this second else if, and just import the required libraries. Okay. The next change you have to do is instead of this register, click on login, and that's it. You just simply restart your application, check if everything is all right, and now test it. Now when I go to this login and type my email, which I just registered. And now if I click on this submit button from the login screen, let's see what happens. See, it's showing success. That means we are now able to successfully log in as well. So that's it. This is very easy. I think you might be also thinking that using Firebase is pretty straightforward. The code are very minimal and it does the job in no time. So that's all for this video. See you in the next session.